It's Wednesday and you're welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I'm your host, Mikhail Tinubu, and this morning I'm joined by Seun Ajidagba. Seun, are you there?
Hello, good morning, Mikhail.
Good morning.
Happy New Month to every member of Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. 12 is the number of perfection, and December will be a month to remember for you all.
And you too. Thank you so much. We're preparing for celebrations, but of course, sports never sleeps. So, of course, we start in Nigeria as always with Gernot Rohr and the Super Eagles. While the future of Gernot Rohr as coach of the three-time African champions remains uncertain, he has continued the hard work of preparing for the biennial competition next year. Despite the fact that Rohr's position as Nigeria's coach has grown untenable, the former Burkina Faso coach has not let uncertainties about his future deter him from his efforts. The 68-year-old tactician said that he delivered a 40-man provisional list to CAF on November 15th as required ahead of next year's Africa Cup of Nations, and is continuing with his strategy. However, it is still unknown whether Rohr will be the team's head coach for the tournament. The former Bordeaux player has been in charge since 2016, but he is on the verge of being fired after the Super Eagles' recent poor results. Since the German's contract does not expire until the end of next year, the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, is currently looking for funds to pay him off. Now, Seun, we've talked about this. I think most of us are in unison about wanting Gernot Rohr to leave. His time is up. But the fact is, it strikes me as odd that a man who has officially been announced as leaving the position is still very much in the helm of the affairs, preparing for a major tournament. And there is no clarity yet as to whether he will be involved with the tournament or if a new manager has even been lined up. And all of that revolves around the story that he hasn't, the NFF haven't really raised the severance package for him just yet.
I'm not a proponent of mathematics, but today is December 1st. So let's strike off December 1st. We have 30 more days in December. Then you add 10 more days in January, which makes it 40 days. Because on the 11th of January 2022, Nigeria will be facing Egypt at the Runge Ajia Stadium in Garoua. And we are still not sorted who will take us to AFCON. There is so much controversy surrounding Gernot Rohr, still the manager, or he has left. Mika, remember when you played Cape Verde?
Yes.
That was on November 16th. I remember vividly because that day coincided with the eve of the tournament we went for in Rwanda. And up until now, 2 weeks after, they have still not sorted out this issue. I say it today, tomorrow, even on public holiday, one of the worst administration Nigeria ever saw is that of Ahmadu Melvin Pinnick and his team. How do you allow this to linger for this long? Rohr is telling us that he has submitted his provisional plans to CAF in November 15th. NFF on one side are saying the package weight is in. They are looking for several package to pay him. He is still handling on the job. They said they are looking for a new manager to take us to AFCON. All these things don't add up, and it makes us look like people who are not serious.
Even while looking for the financial package for his severance, he could officially have stepped down and have someone take over in his stead, even on an interim basis. As it is now, him having had the luxury of picking his 40-man provisional team, in a way, handicaps whoever might come in before the AFCON begins, doesn't it?
You have said it all. There's nothing more to add. I have always said it, that Gernot Rohr and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are in the same WhatsApp group. They know next to nothing about coaching. Some persons will push the agenda to me that Gernot Rohr qualifies us with 1 game to spare, 2 games to spare. And I asked them, what is the biggest achievement of Gernot Rohr? Are we saying we have never qualified for any tournament before? Mm-hmm. Yes, we have. We have qualified for several tournaments. And the honest truth is, don't make it look like he has done something anybody has never done before. Late Timikeshi took us to the World Cup. We got to the round of 16. Amadou Shaibu has qualified us for 2 World Cups. God bless his soul. He has done, we have finished in 3rd position at AFCON severally. In actual fact, between you and I, Mikhail, they have considered that 3rd position to Nigeria. Because the last one we won in Egypt made it the 8th time we've been winning it. So there's nothing special in what they have done. And when people talked about qualifying us for competition with the game to spare, one simple example I always cite is, if myself and Mikhail are seeking for a university admission, Mikhail came in with the V6 list, or call it the last list, and Seun Ajidagba came in with the merit list. At the end of our 4-year program or our 5-year program, Mikhail finishes with a 1st class, Seun Ajidagba finishes with a pass. Who cares about how we got him? So the question now is, we don't care about how you qualify for a tournament. Okay. What you did at the tournament is all that matters.
All right.
And you have shown over time that Gernot Rohr lacks game management, and it cannot take us anywhere.
All right. On that note, let's move on to women's football. Now, of course, the sport is still developing, and results such as this one are bound to happen. But of course, it's still a surprise when it does. England chalked up their biggest ever competitive victory with a 20-0 humiliation of Latvia in a Women's World Cup qualifier, as Ellen White broke the Lionesses' scoring record on a busy night for the scorekeeper at the Keepmouth Stadium on Tuesday, November 30th. White bagged a hat-trick to take her tally to 48 from 101 caps for England, beating Kelly Smith's mark by 2 goals. 10 different players found the back of the net in a one-way encounter, with 21-year-old Lauren Hemp striking 4 times for the first international goals. Beth Mead and Alessia Russo also claimed hat-tricks, with Ella Toone, Georgia Stanway, Bethany England netting braces, while Jill Scott, Jess Carter and Jordan Nobbs completed the demolition. England's previous record win dated back to 2005 when they hammered Hungary 13-0. England topped Group D with a maximum 18 points from 6 games, ahead of Austria and Northern Ireland on 13th. They have now scored 53 goals in the qualifying campaign for the 2023 finals in Australia and New Zealand without conceding, leaving goalkeeper Mary Herbst virtually unemployed. Latvia sit bottom without a point, having conceded 46 goals and scoring just twice in their 5 matches. Obviously, the women's football is still very much in its infancy, Seun, but scores like these do embarrass entire nations, don't they?
They will learn from it. Don't forget, Mika, in 1991, the Super Falcons went to the World Cup and they were battered by America 9-1. And from then on, we learned our lesson. If we face America now, I don't think they can beat us 9-1 anymore. But you have to say that Smith's record as England top scorer is amazing. To put 20 past Latvia, Mika, let me be frank with you. If I were to be in that team of Latvia, as they beat us 7-0, I go dey fake injury, because I don't want them to use me to set record. But all the same, you have to give credit to the English national team. Don't forget that this was the team that was coached by Philip Neville at the 2019 World Cup. They did very well, even if they finished in 4th position after losing that 3rd place game against Sweden. But you have to give them credit. They are an emerging side, and you need to watch out for the English national team. Well, I know you still have to talk about countries like USA, Netherlands, Brazil, and the like. But England are really doing well, their female team.
All right. Now to the Arab Cup. FIFA President Gianni Infantino was at the opening ceremony of the Arab Cup in Qatar on Tuesday, November 30th. With less than a year to go until the country will host the World Cup, Infantino was among the spectators in the newly opened Al Bayt Stadium in Al Khor, which is one of the new stadiums that will host matches during next year's tournament. The 60,000 capacity ground was packed for its inauguration ahead of Qatar's opening match of the Arab Cup against Bahrain. Simply spectacular scenes. Now, meanwhile, host nation Qatar got their Arab Cup campaign after a winning start on Tuesday, November 30th, at the newly opened Al Bayt Stadium in Al Khor. Abdulaziz Hatim netted the winner with the second half header as the hosts saw off Bahrain 1-0. The tournament takes place 12 months ahead of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the first to be held in the Middle East. The Arab Cup consists of 16 teams divided into 4 groups, with the top 2 in each going through to the knockout stages. Now, the Arab Cup will help a lot of nations and who are participating prepare and gain some much needed football experience in Qatar in preparation for the World Cup next year. But it also allows Qatar's new stadiums and new venues to be fully tested and viewed by fans all over the world. At the same time, countries like Algeria and Egypt, who will be participating, will be, how shall we say, more fit for the upcoming Nations Cup in Africa. A lot of things to talk about here, Seun.
Well, Mikhail, this is not the first time we'll be having the Arab Cup. It started in 1963, hosted by Lebanon and won by Tunisia. The last team to win the Arab Cup is Morocco. Saudi Arabia were the host. This will be the first time that FIFA will be involved in the Arab Cup. And I asked myself a simple question. They say it's a dress rehearsal for Qatar 2022. What happened to FIFA Confederations Cup, where teams that win from various continents will converge as the test run alongside the host? Then another question I need to ask myself, because I'm afraid because Egypt is part of this competition. Will this be a ranking competition?
It most likely
because
will be.
The next time we'll be having the draws for the final round of the World Cup qualifier will be December 18. And if this competition is a ranking competition and Egypt wins some matches, it means they will be ahead of Nigeria in the ranking. Yes. And Nigeria will drop to 42. And when I mean 42, it will be ranked maybe 6th. And Egypt, who are already 6th, will move to 5th. What is the agenda of FIFA? Because this is the first time they will be involved. Why are you involved in something that has been in existence? And I need to ask Infantino, is this going to be a ranking competition? This is the same Infantino that Africa has been backing and all of that. You saw what he did, disrespecting our African Cup of Nations by fixing their FIFA World Club Cup almost at that same time. And the Egyptians are complaining. And then we are backing them. We are moving sheepishly with FIFA, not taking our own stand, because we seem to be the only continent in the world supporting this biannual competition. And in spite of that, they disrespected us by fixing their FIFA World Club Cup almost at the same time that we are having our biggest competition in Africa, which is AFCON.
The fact that FIFA is involved with this Arab Cup most likely means that it will be a ranking competition. And like you said, it means Nigeria will drop into second spot if Egypt win a couple of games, maybe even go all the way to win the entire competition. Now, that said, Nigeria, as you know, will be facing Egypt in their first match in the Nations Cup in January, on 11th of January. Will that as well should contribute to the ranking positions of both teams, both nations?
Like I told you, our first game against the Egyptians is on the 11th of January 2022. And I've always joked that the Egyptians you see today, you see them no more. Because they are a formidable team, no doubt. But I still feel that if we have proper coaching and our boys decide to up the ante, the Egyptians are beatable. But with this intending fact, I have not been sacked by Gernot Rohr and Nigeria Football Federation. I cannot understand, because the news I have authoritatively is that Gernot Rohr is a foregone issue. They are just working on the central package, but they have not come out in the open to make it clear, making us in this profession of journalism look like we don't know what they are doing.
Well, I want
so
to
they
actually
need to come out and we sort this thing out as quickly as possible.
I want to actually talk about
the
World Cup in November next year. Do you believe that this has now set a precedent going forward, that the competition can be moved to any time of the year so long as it meets or affords FIFA to do whatever it needs to do whenever it needs to do it?
Let me make a bold and a damning statement this morning. And I hope my head will be put on the chopping block. FIFA are corrupt.
I think that goes
we
without
have
saying.
Our traditional competition of the World Cup in June, July. Now, moving it to November or December of 2022 means that the calendar of football in Europe will be altered. And that's a big problem. The reason for giving it to Qatar ahead of USA still worries me. You know what happened in 2018. England, because they alleged FIFA of financial misappropriation, they were dropped in the first round. They said they didn't qualify for the second round in the bidding process. And this has happened. I have a friend in Qatar who is telling me that if they host it in June, July, people will die, because the weather will be very, very hot. And that's why they are building artificial stadium. So when you leave that artificial stadium that is cool, are you going to carry that coolness outside? You know, it's not adding up. And you cannot just change the tradition. Because if there's an English that I understand, they say if it's not broken, you don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Well, you know what? When it comes to spending power, the Qataris certainly have a lot of it. And when it comes to infrastructure, they have the capacity to build very world-class infrastructure. So it wouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility that they could have created the right environment for the competition to still hold in June, as is usual, and to allow people to come indoors, enjoy the benefit of a cooled stadium, and still have pathways, maybe even underground paths to clubs and pubs to have after match parties. It wouldn't have been so out of the norm, would it?
It's not going to be possible. Their weather is not favorable at that period. That June, July, it's a no. Those who even live in Qatar dread June, July.
But then are you saying
the visitors that will be coming?
But then are you saying, Seun, that if not for the obvious reputation of corruption that FIFA has, the Qataris and even any nation from the Middle East with their hot climate would be unsuitable ever to ever host the competition?
Definitely. And that says it all.
All right.
I am not against improvement. I am not against development, but not at the expense of what is tradition.
Well, all right. Now we move to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods does not know when he will return to the PGA Tour following a February car accident that left him in a wheelchair for 2 months, but said on Tuesday, November 30th, he would love to compete in the British Open next July at St. Andrews. Woods, who was close to having his leg amputated after he lost control of his car in Los Angeles, won 2 of his 15 career major titles at the Old Course at St. Andrews in Scotland and has not ruled out being in the field. Woods, who recently posted a video on social media showing him hitting a golf shot, acknowledged he has a long road ahead of him in the rehab process, including countless reps breaking up scar tissue and things he said really hurt. When asked about how he feels with the expectations among his legion of supporters who feel he can still win a major, the 45-year-old Woods said he was flattered that people think that highly of his game. Woods collected his most recent major at the 2019 Masters, a remarkable win that followed several surgeries to his back and knee and personal problems that convinced many the best golfer of his generation was done. Now Woods, who accepted that the clock is ticking on his storied career, said he has no desire to resume a full playing schedule, but that he would prefer to ramp up his preparation for a few events. Now, I wish Tiger Woods all the best, but after 2 major car accidents, it might be time to hire a chauffeur. Seun Ajidagba, thank you for your presence and joining us this morning. Always a pleasure to have you.
A bigger pleasure is mine for always doing it to call me. I wish you guys a wonderful new month and thank you for calling me.
All right. And to everyone at home or at work watching Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa, we appreciate you. Stick with us for more sports news for the rest of the month. And as I always say, life is never boring with some sports. Have a beautiful day.